What's up, YouTube? Today, the Great League is finally back, but before we hop into the Great League battles, I just want to thank you guys so much for 2,000 subs. It's not like a massive milestone or anything, but it is still really cool to see that the channel is growing. And honestly, the growth it's seen in just the last month has been pretty incredible. So thank you all so much. If you've subscribed recently, thank you especially. It means a lot. And I thought, what could I do for this moment? And I thought, why not some coaching? I actually had a comment asking about it under a previous video. They were curious if they could submit battles and get some coaching. And I thought, why not? That seems like a pretty good idea. So I've created a Google form. It will be in the description going forward. So definitely look at that, and if you want to submit battles, it should explain it in the form, and if you guys have any trouble, just let me know in the comments below. But without further ado, let's take a look at the team that we'll be battling with today. As you know from the title and the thumbnail, we're looking at Pangoro, Talonflame, and G-Wheezing. Now, the team build here is Pangoro is weak to mainly two things, right? It's weak to fairy and fighting. Those are its biggest issues in the current meta. Obviously, it's also weak to flying. And there's not too many flyers in this meta, and the ones that are kind of weak to G-Wheezing. Think like Mandibuzz, Jumpluff, etc. And then Talonflame also covers fairies and fighters as well. So pretty ABC style team, but a good core of two things that cover its weaknesses in the back. So let's take a look at some battles. We've got Drapeon on the lead in the first match. So this is kind of an awkward matchup because we could always bait, but we can live an Aqua Tail here, even from a Shadow Drapeon here. But these Poison Stings are adding up so much. But now I can full send the close combat and make them do the first shielding decision of the battle. That said, they come in with a Golisopod, and I don't have a fantastic answer to Golisopod, so I just throw their close combat anyways. And then I come in with the Wheezing, because I know I can take one charge move here, and then I'll be able to just throw the Sludge to KO right before they're able to make it to charge move number 2. And as you can see, an Aqua Jet does 50% of the non-Shadow G-Wheezing's health, so we had to kind of throw that close combat in order to maintain alignment. They come back in with the Drapeon. They were going to outpace to an Aqua Tail, so I do just settle for a Sludge, and they actually make it to, I think, one away from back-to-back Aqua Tails, I believe. So I just come in with my Talonflame prepared to shield, but they actually don't get a move off, which is huge, and it's Credilli in the back. So I am going to shield this up, and then I'm probably just going to go for double Brave Bird because I can outpace here and make it to back-to-back Brave Birds before they're even able to make it to a second Rock Tomb. So may as well full send, and at this point I can just fully farm them down. And if they don't throw a move, I would have caught on Pangoro, or if they did throw a move, I would catch on Pangoro, but they do not, so we're able to take that win. Okay, Shadow Dusknoir, and it looks like they're on Hex, not Astonish. So their pacing is going to be a little bit better here. And they can take one Night Slash, but we have them already in the red before they're even able to get to a close combat, or sorry, a dynamic punch, and they do, and now they come in with Gastron. We don't have a fantastic answer here, so once again, just going for that close combat, either grab the shield or chip, and now we have alignment and shields. The only thing that we're worried about here is a Water Pulse, but because they go for the Body Slam, it's pretty unlikely that they have it. And at this point, I'm just going to go for the Brave Bird and KO, because if they want to shield, then I can always just shield back and make it to another Brave Bird. And it's a Dugong in the back. And I actually commit to the Brave Bird. They make a pretty nice catch onto the Dusknoir. This will obviously be enough to KO, and now I have to be worried about this Dugong because it has energy, and I kind of need to be able to take a charge move on my Wheezing, so I actually shield this up. Because I know it's going to be the Icy Wind, and now I can go for a close combat right before they make it to their next move, But I can instantly reset that, and I know one drill run will not be enough to KO. I wouldn't be surprised if they icy wins because they know it's going to take 2, but no, they actually full send the drill run. And I actually continue to farm because I know that's going to force them to throw their energy, like the fear basically of an overheat, and that lets me come back in with the Pangoro, outpace to the close combat, and this super effective damage will be more than enough to KO 3 Dugongs from that range. So we're able to take that game. Guzzlord on the lead. This is a great lead. We're just going to stay in this matchup, and it looks like they're staying in as well, which is kind of surprising. We're not going to bait here. May as well just go full send the close combat, and then maybe one and catch onto the Wheezing. We do. So this is probably either a brutal swing, crunch, or a Dragon Claw, and it is the Dragon Claw that it's double resisted, and we bait out a Toxapex, which is not really something anyone on this team wants to see. We're pretty much triple weak to Toxapex as is, so this is going to be pretty rough to get out of. But what can we do to get out of this matchup? First of all, we throw in CMP with the first brine. Looks like it doesn't KO, and it puts us in perfect farm down range. However, this means we can actually get to 2 more sludges, and this will do some pretty decent chip. It'll put it probably in the red, to be honest. Yeah, it puts it in the red. And now we can just come back with Pangoro, pretty much sacrifice it, and then go 2 shield Talonflame. We do get 1 turn lag, unfortunately, but we were going to sacrifice our Pangoro either way. And now we can just come in with Talonflame. They just burned 1 brine, so they're probably only going to get to 1 more. I have to throw right away, or else they're going to make it to a move on their Guzzlord, and it looks like that was CMP, but we actually KO with the fly. And now they have a Annihilate in the back. So all I have to do here is basically make it to back-to-back flies, and I've won this game because they are not at a Rage Fist quite yet, and I've saved the shield for the brine on the Toxapex, and that counter will not go through because we're KOing with this move, so we're not quite in Poison Jab farm down range. It's 2 Incinerates, or 3 Incinerates, but fortunately we are able to get to the fly and outpace, and they could not throw a move because they were not at back-to-back, so we were able to take that win. Into the next match, we have a Swalot. So just regular poison types are pretty tricky for this team, especially bulky ones. So Toxapex, Swalot, these are tricky Pokemon for this team. And because of that, we just have to kind of stay in this matchup, and we're just going to go straight Night Slash, because Night Slash, it will do some decent chip, but it won't quite KO. And we do throw on the CMP tie with a sludge, but I want to at least grab a shield out of this matchup before I go down. So I'm going to once again try and throw on CMP, but Night Slash will be able to KO from this range, so they will have to shield if they want to keep switch, and they actually let it go, which is kind of surprising. And then it's a Marowak, and I do not have a great answer here, so I full send the close combat. That does huge damage. They let it go, and they're not going to be able to get to... Oh, they were able to throw 3 Mud Slaps and a charge move. That's not how the game's supposed to work, which means they do get to the rock slide. I get the full farm down, and now I can make it to back-to-back flies, so this will do some great chip. I can actually fly Brave Bird here as well. Oh, it was actually on a CMP tie, but I will live a Swift here. Yeah, very comfortably. So now I'm just going to go for the Brave Bird. This should grab the last shield from my opponent, and at this point, they have no charge moves. Even if they can get to 2 Swifts, Trailblaze and Sucker Punch are resisted, so it's not going to quite do it for them. Even though that is stab damage, we are able to make it to a Play Rough, and Play Rough will be enough to KO from this range. We're able to take that game. The reason we're running Play Rough on Wheezing is actually just because, great lead by the way, we have 2 even better answers in the back, but we're just going to stay in this matchup and go for straight close combat. But the reason we're running Play Rough is just because we're not running the Shadow, so Brutal Swing is pretty lackluster on the non-Shadow Galarian Wheezing, and I just felt like I needed that extra damage, and also it felt like a good answer to Drapeon, because a lot of Drapeons don't expect Play Rough coverage, so that's kind of why we're running it there. And we have like an answer to Psychic on the lead, so it's not like it's that much of an issue. They actually make a catch onto a Molga, but I do react in time, and I do go for the Night Slash. And now I can just send in my Wheezing. I can take any one charge move, but I probably will respect an Acrobatics. Yeah, Acrobatics will hurt, and we know the Chestnut has no plan to us, so as soon as we shield up that Acrobatics, my opponent resigns the match, and we're able to take that game. Jumpluff on the lead. Okay, this is a terrible lead. We have to get out into our safe swap here of Wheezing, and we are able to outpace to the Sludge because of the one-turn switch that my opponent will get there. And now, as long as we throw as soon as we get to the move, pretty much, we should be able to flip switch in the 2s here, because I think we'll be able to Fairy Wind farm down, and we should absolutely flip switch at pretty much all costs here. Our Pangoro has no play in a Jumpluff, and we should be able to get a Fairy Wind farm down here because they let that one go. And we have super effective Sludge coverage for the Jumpluff if it comes back in. It's actually a Lapras in the back, so we're going to go for the harder hitting nuke. Maybe they don't expect it here. That does pretty big damage. Can we get to another? Not quite. I tried to click on the Sludge, but we don't quite get there. But we can live probably any one move here. We are actually able to make it to a Night Slash, and this might grab the shield, and it does. And it's a CMP tie, which is massive, because now we can probably just come in with our Talonflame, or we can stay in, force them to throw the Sparkling Aria, get them a little bit lower, put them in 2 Incinerate farm down range, and then because they're not going to be able to get to the charge move, ooh, okay, they actually do get to the charge move, but we actually live it on 1 HP, able to make it to the Brave Bird. Is this a shadow? No, it's a non-shadow. Can we get the full farm down before they get to a move? Just barely able to get there. I think my opponent was on double nuke Jumpluff there, because I think otherwise they should have gotten there. So that's why you don't run double nuke Jumpluff. But Wheezing in lead, this is obviously a bad lead. We come in with our own Wheezing, and they don't throw, which means we get that fast move back because of the one-turn switch. We don't lose a turn there, which is really nice. And they do just end up going for the Sludge. They could outpace here, but they come in with a Diggersby instead. And we actually have 2 really good answers to Diggersby, but unfortunately it's not aligned against either of those at the moment. They are at back-to-back Fire Punches, so I do have to just let this go. Fire Punch does KO. Where do I go from here? I come in Pangoro, I get 1-turn switch, because that is just a feature in this game. I can eat 1 Scorching Sands, and they do get the attack fall. I am going to throw the close combat on CMP with the next charge move, just maximizing my energy there, and then instantly switching into the Talonflame, and it's a Lapras in the back. How are we going to get our way out of this one is the question. We are going to just go for the fly spam. And they let that go, and it's a CMP tie. That's pretty unfortunate, honestly, because that means we could have gotten an entire Incinerate in for free, but we don't quite get there, and we are going to have to double shield here. We know we can survive one from full HP, but after these Psy Waves have chipped, we definitely can't get there, but we can actually get a full Incinerate farm down, leave with 2 flies loaded, which is massive, because now I can go for 1 fly, I can go for 2 flies, and that Fairy Wind went through, which means they did not throw a charge move. We instantly come in to our Pangoro. They're going to have to throw. If they don't, we make it to a close combat. This is double resisted, and it still KOs. Nobody told Pangoro that charge move was double resisted. He forgot. Jumpluff on the lead. This one is Shadow. Coming in with our safe swap, Galarian Wheezing, and we bait out a Drapeon, right? So this is where it's really nice. They are going to outpace. They're going to get to an Aqua Tail here. That's fine. We can live that very comfortably. And we can even, looks like we live 2, but I probably won't risk it because I don't want to get Poison Sting farmed out. And we full send the play rough. They let that go, and now they're in Fairy Wind farm down range before they can make it to a 3rd Aqua Tail. So we just flip switch. Are they going to come back in with their Jumpluff? No. They're going to come in with a Lapras as well. I think this is the exact same team as the last one we were just looking at. Not very unique for my opponent, but this time we actually do get 2 charge moves off. I'm very curious who released this team. They actually shield the second, which is pretty nice. We can come in with Pangoro here, get to the Night Slash. This will do some decent chip. I actually want them to no shield this, because if they no shield, this game is over, and it is. Now it does not matter. Our Talonflame can come in and incinerate, farm down. They actually come in with the Jumpluff. They try and go for a snipe there. They don't quite get it. We have Talonflame in the back. I will respect an Acrobatics here. Yeah, Acrobatics will hurt, and they do have it. That would have done a lot of damage. And unfortunately for my opponent, I don't think they're going to get to 2 before I'm able to get to 2 flies. And they do, actually. So is Acrobatics enough to KO from a Shadow Jumpluff from this range? Not quite. And they're still switch locked, which means I can actually get this fly off. This will be enough to KO, and now I can incinerate, farm down the Lapras, and we're able to take that win. Okay, into the next match, we've got another Swalot on the lead. Oh geez, probably means there's a Credillia in the back as well. But this time we're going for the Night Slash right away. And that's just because we want that chance to boost. Believe it or not, all 5 of my sets today, every single Night Slash I threw, I didn't get a single boost, not one, which is unfortunate luck, but it is only like 12.5%, I think, so I'm not that sad about it. That's definitely on the lower side. I do catch a Sludge onto my Wheezing, because I am reading that they do have the Credillia in the back. It's often paired with the Swalot for some reason. But they do make it to another Sludge. I have to kind of just eat this. Wheezing is the damage sponge on this team, and they're staying in, forcing me to throw, so I'm just going to go for a Play Rough, KO the Swalot, and it's in Golisopod in the back. So now where do I go? I come in Talonflame, maybe thinking I can go for a 2-shield farm down situation here. I wouldn't be surprised if I at least try and grab a shield back. Obviously I do want to throw in good timing, and my opponent is kind of forcing me to just keep going for these incinerates. But now we can get to this fly. This will be enough to KO, obviously, from this range. And they let it go. So what is that Pokemon in the back? It is the Credillia. We're full sending the Brave Bird here. This is kind of our only win condition, is they no shield. And they don't, so I try and go for a catch. Maybe they don't know that this is not a close combat and they shield this, and they do. That might give us a win con, and they throw, and they're only at 2 bullet seeds, so as long as I'm 1 incinerate away from a Brave Bird, this might be a win, and we are. Brave Bird, is it enough to kill the KO the bulky Credillia from this range? It is, but unfortunately they were 1 mud shot away from the Sludge on the Swalot, so they are able to KO the Talonflame and take that game with 1 HP. So the 1 loss there towards the end. And into the last battle of the video, we've got another Jumpluff and another Drapeon. This team seems like it's everywhere, so it must be the Lapras in the back. That's my bet. And we actually connect with the Play Rough. That is absolutely massive, because now we know we can live 1 Aqua Tail. It looks like we can live 2, but I'm going to shield it just to be safe, because I don't want a simultaneous KO and then risk getting my Pangoro back on that Jumpluff, because we do have super effective Sludge coverage, so we can always grab that shield back. And I farm up to back-to-back Sludges, so they're not going to be able to get a charge move off. And they actually look like they threw on CMP, which is huge, because now, ooh, they let that go. They want to go 2 shield wits in the back, and it's more Peko in the back. And unfortunately, I've given them an energy lead. Have we done enough with the Fairy Winds to get a full farm down is the question. I come in with Pangoro just to sacrifice, forced him to throw that charge move, and we actually live that on 1 HP. And have we put them in like 3 Incinerate farm down range, because that would mean that they might not be able to get the 2 charge moves. I have to shield this up. I could try and call Psychic Fangs bait, and they do. That's so unfortunate, because I think that means no, they don't quite get there, so we're able to get the Incinerate farm down, and we can take that win. So yeah, I mean, you can't shield everything, right? We've got Close Combat, we've got Brave Bird, we've got Play Rough Nuke on Wheezing. We've got some hard hitting charge moves coming my opponent's way, and we've got a really great core ABC style team. So yeah, that's a team. Thank you all so much for watching. feel free to submit battles in the description. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, peace.